And I also want to say that Scrivener is a massive software, and today we have a really jam-packed session and we won't be able to cover all of them. And in our practical part, in the second part of the session, will be training basic things. And at the end, I'll ask you which of the features you liked most and which of the features you'll probably want to use later on your own. Okay? So, the first one is the Scrivener dashboard. When you open your file, any file, you can see that dashboard. And
sorry, Lada, coming back about references, many people have said that they use Mendeley and some of them use Zotero as well, or starting to use it.
Yeah, Tatiana, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so I think if people are using reference managers, I think it makes sense to show it how it works with Scrivener and how they can be integrated together. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the answers. Thank you, Tatiana. All right, so first things first. At first, when you can see the interface, it can look like complicated, but once you become familiar with it, it is surprisingly easy to use. And let's, for example, look at the dashboard. On the top, you can see the toolbar, the violet, which actually is quite. This is a kind of it is a panel of tools which you are using, and it is flexible. You can remove tools which you are not using. This is the default how it is when you open your first file without any changes. This is the default setting, so you can see that there it is the options which you are using in the toolbar. If you look at the second line just below the toolbar, you can see the formatting bar. And it looks like a familiar thing which is very similar to the, for example, formatting bar in Word. Let's look at the Scrivener now, which is, I put it like schematically for you. And if we look at this, like it looks, how it really looks, you can see the toolbar right here, right? And the formatting bar is right here. And then you can see 3 main spaces. You can see like 3 columns there, right? So I'll show you the formatting bar once again, just to make sure that we understand this is the formatting bar. And now we are going to approach one of these 3 main spaces one to one. The first goes the binder. Binder is one of the most powerful things about Scrivener. The beauty of Scrivener is that once you understand how the binder works, adding files and folders to your project, you can start any project. So add a file in a binder, you can do it in a different way. For example, you can drag and drop a file and, for example, a Word document, and it will be there just by dragging and dropping with its own name, how you put it in Word. Then you can add a document, to add the text to the binder. You can put the plus button on the top of the toolbar or at the bottom of it. So there are different options how you can add a document to your binder. And it is easy. Believe me, it's just you have to get your head around it and you're there. The second place is the main content area. There are a lot of things going there, and we'll return back to the content area discussing various Scrivener features. And in fact, and you can see it, it is plain and simple. And this is the main area where you actually do your writing. And on the right hand, you can see the inspector. And you can open and close it by pushing the button on the toolbar. So the inspector can be hidden from the screen when you're writing. The inspector is the place where you can hold all sorts of information about your work, about your project, and the folders of the project. And now I'm going to
Lada, I'm very sorry, but we have one person asking if you can show once again the binder, because this person got confused whether where's the binder and where's the methodology. So can you please show it again?
Binder is on the left. This is now it is framed. This is the binder, and actually methodology orientation. This is my writing. Actually, this is a kind of piece of my writing. It is where people write. So it is just here to show you that I'm writing there. So binder is there. Right, you can see there, for example, it is the folder with my article, and you can see different text here in the folder of article. And then there you can see then research, and this is another area of binder. I think we'll return to the functions of research folder and the draft folder when we'll be doing it screen floor in the second part, when you'll see the actual Scrivener how it works. Okay. All right. Shall we move on? All right. So features of Scrivener to learn first. There are a lot of them, as I said, but I think for us as writers of academic papers, we need the following. Just for your orientation, most of them will be briefly reviewed today and doing today. So the first is the Corkboard. We'll return to it just in the next slide. Then the binder, we've already said something about it. Then the placeholders, and I'll say a couple of words about this. Then the inspector, which is on the right side of the main area, right? And you've already seen it, yeah? And then the composition mode, we'll show you that. Then how to set the word targets. This is also an important feature of Scrivener. Breakaway windows. I'll show you the screenshot I've prepared for you. Then copy holders, and this is the function of Scrivener. Then labels, and we'll return to them very briefly now. Text hiding, how to clean your text automatically without any effort from your part. This is magical thing, as well as language focus. This is another magical thing about Scrivener. And how to compile the Scrivener file into a finished product in the traditional format, any format which you want to compile your file into. So there are the features of Scrivener, which I think for us are most important. So now once again we return to the main view. And now I'm going to show you the things. So now we return back to these three spaces as it was in the screen shot before. But now I want to show you one button on the top, which helps you to manage three main views of Scrivener. Now, if you might notice this, the first button is activated, and it means that now we are in the main view. So we can see all the areas, and this is you can actually write using the main view. This is the view for writing. And if you push the right button, you go to another view of Scrivener, and this is inspector. And inspector is a kind of the thing which contains all the information about your file. And you can, again, as as with any feature of Scrivener, you can add fields here, or you can remove fields here, and all the things, they're flexible, and you can set different, for example, word targets, and we'll show it. I'll demonstrate it to you how it works. So this is how the inspector works. A lot of things go in inspector, and probably if you ask me a question, for example, I'll be demonstrating how Scrivener works, I'll talk a little bit more about functions of inspector. But mostly what we should get with us next, that this is the actually inspector is the information about our project, what it does. Then if we push the middle button, we get a completely different view of Scrivener, and this is called Corkboard view. And here you can see all your texts present in index cards. And I'd like, when I'm showing it, I'm also want to show you the labels. If you can you see the labels, please? Now on the bottom, on the right bottom of the screen, because if you notice the colored stripes on the left, they come from the labels which I assigned for these parts of the writing. For example, for me, they are work in progress, pending, something which is waiting, I'm not sure what to do with it, and complete, and something that needs work, right? So they're different, oh, and to do things. The green are to do things. So I can now visually, and I love it really when I visualize my content. I can now visually see what happens with my with parts of my article. Here it is the screenshot from my article. So with different parts, it means at what stage of writing each part now is. So if you want to apply a label to a text, just go down to labels and choose what you want to click on, what you want to, for example, which part of the text you want to mark what, for example, as complete, right? And then you select the place in the binder which you want to mark it like this color, and it is there, just very, very simple. And in one click, you can apply the same label to different texts. So you can first highlight in the binder different texts and then apply, for example, one label for different. So you don't need to do it just manually, marking each of them one by one. So you can do them like all together. By choosing the proper view, we can visualize the colors and the status of each part of each, for example, chapter of the text. And if time permits, we'll try to do it in the second part also, because it is very easy, I think. And we can see the colors like in mine screenshot, but also you can choose the different option for visualizing, and you can have the index card entirely colored by this label. So you assign the color for the index card, and it appears in the entire card. And if you get the card left blank, white, with the white background, it means that it is not assigned. So this is also very good if you have many of the text parts. It's also a very good visual thing. Obviously, for this view to work for you, you need to understand labels, right? And you need to understand how to apply them. That's why I'm talking too much about them now. So you need to understand how to edit them, and most of all, what you are using them for. That first option, which you have chosen to start your writing with, creating an outline, this is actually the purpose. For example, I use this Corkboard view for. So I'm outlining my paper by moving these index cards and thinking, so it facilitates my thinking process, so to say. Interestingly, there is also a vertical view or horizontal view of the card. So what you can do with it, and this is just another view, this is the same label function, this is the same corkboard view, but I've used another perspective on this, and look, I'm having them like as a timeline. So I can see all the cards. I can drag and drop to different lines. So I can take one card and move it, for example, here. And as soon as I've done it, it gets blue. For example, if I put it here, so which is all, they all automatically switch its colors. So it can be also used not only for the outline, but it can also be used as a timeline for you to see where you are actually, where you are now with your paper. And yes, and here they are represented as a thread, right? And that's why it is a very interesting view. So it works as a thread here. So it is not, so index cards are not just only a view, how, for example, the main area was. It is for you to engage with it, to work with it, to interact with it, and to make these cards, with these cards in the with index cards work for you, and to see and to make your decisions looking at them. To some, it looks like it looks like a timeline, as I said, and it is actually showing us the elements that we have in the binder, right? So they're the same elements, and they're from the top to the bottom in the binder, but they're displayed here from left to right, or if you put it vertically, they're displayed from top to down. And as I said, everything is flexible here, and we can change the size of the cards. We can choose the colors if you don't like these colors, which I've chosen. You can use the other colors, right? So you can change the spacing in between the cards, and you can, for example, choose the number of keywords displayed in each card, so which is also changeable. So mostly there for you to trace your progress, to see how you can make progress, think and see how you can do it. Now I'm going to move on to another Scrivener feature, which can be a completely different one, and actually it does with the main view. And it is it can enable you to work. It enables you to work in with multiple windows in one screen. And if you remember, as we discussed at the beginning, the real primary reader of your paper is going to be a reviewer. And when the first revision process has gone, and you've got those notes, reviewer notes, we have to deal with them and write the resubmission letter. So we are having our manuscript or our article, we are getting reviewer notes, and we are getting another file, which is actually the resubmission letter. And actually, for me, it is very annoying to when I have to flick between different files. And here in Scrivener, I can do it in one screen. So all the multiple windows can be arranged in one screen. And if you might notice, all of them have their writing, the toolbar for writing. And you can use and write in any of these 4 windows which are demonstrated. Actually, you can have less of them. For this feature in Scrivener, even without using an extra cards, you can use the split screen view, and I think we'll see. I'll show it in real time when I'll share my screen with you there. But it is very, for me, it is very convenient to be able to write and to engage with various parts of my writing at the same time without opening and closing various files. So once again, to have these multiple windows in Scrivener, you can, first of all, to split your screen into parts. Then you can use a function of a copy holder, which brings you the extra window, and you can use the option which is called quick reference. It is also gives you. So there are various ways you can play and choose which windows you like more, which you are more convenient to write in there. So there are multiple options for this. So I'm not limited here to just the elements from within the manuscript. This is also very important. In these various windows, you can actually view the article which you are currently working with, or a picture, or a graph, or whatever visual you need in order to write something. So these windows are not only about so you can upload only the parts of your text. You can get them from the research area, which is a part of the binder as well. As if you remember, I talked about this at the beginning. So in the research area, all the sources which are stored there, like images, like articles, like, I don't know, anything, and they also can be multimedia there. You can also to bring it here and use it as an extra screen for you and work simultaneously on your writing and revising and referencing the sources you need. Now, on the contrary, again to this window, you have another view of Scrivener, and it is called a composition mode. And here, if you see, your complete, and this screen is completely clean from any other things. It's just your writing. And if you put your mouse on the bottom, you can see a black toolbar, very small at the end, and that's it. And all the rest is just your writing, just your piece of writing, and this allows you to work in a completely distraction-free environment. For me, it is, for example, very important when I'm getting emails popping up all the time, and some, for example, messages. So sometimes you can just by clicking one button, which is similar to full screen, you are getting into the composition mode and you're writing there or only your piece which you are dealing with, currently dealing with, it is on the screen. It is fascinating because you are not losing the convenience of quick access to anything within your project, and you can easily access any of the paper. For example, you can put the copy holder here and have a small window of another source here, and at the same time all the other screen is engaged with your piece of writing. And I think this is the very, very convenient thing. Another thing which is fantastic is linguistic focus. So what it does, now it is the screenshot which I've made from my file, and this is, have a look at my linguistic focus dialog here. It allows to focus on specific elements within my article. I don't know, prepositions and conjunctions, they don't really feature heavily on my technical writing, but they probably do in yours. And I'm often interested in verbs, and to avoid repetition, for example, of reporting verbs. And if I toggle that ratio button on, it deems out anything in my manuscript that is not represented as a verb. And you can see only verbs here, and to focus on the various verbs to see how they are spread, etc. So this is, I think, is and in linguistic focus, there are some options. I'm showing just the one which I'm using frequently. You definitely play with it and find probably something else which you like to use. Another option which I promised to show you is text tidying. What it does, for example, I always have random spaces when I write. And for example, if I select the entire project by pushing Ctrl-A, and when I go to edit, how it is shown, and go down to text tidying, I have some options under one of them is to replace multiple spaces with single space. In Word, we are doing it manually, right? So we are just clicking the review the special symbols button, and then we'll see the symbols and we'll do it manually. In Scrivener, the soft does it for you. You're just choosing this option, and multiple spaces are replaced with a single space. You might see that there are other options here in text tidying. For example, to remove the empty lines between paragraphs. And using this feature, text tidying, we can even reorder the paragraphs. If you've decided that for better reader perspective, the paragraph should be swapped, you don't need to do it manually. You just put numbers, which paragraphs comes first, comes second, etc. And when you click off renumber the paragraphs, all the paragraphs which are numbered will be put in the order like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the paragraphs which are not numbered, then they will be left in their spaces. They are not being moved. So this is about text tidying. Now, I'm going to show you the very last screenshot which I've prepared for you, and it does with motivation, because not only with the word targets, as it is said in the title, but also it is our motivation, because when we write, we can go to this page and visually see our progress. For example, looking at the bar here, I think I'll show it for you. So you can visually see how much work is done towards the word limit which we assigned. And what is more, how we can use this word target feature of Scrivener, we usually have to respect word limit. And in Scrivener, we can get this done very easily, and we can control that word limit thing. And it can be done differently, how to set the word limit. For example, when you're in the main view, you just click on the bottom, there is a symbol like target. You just click on it and you can write word target there. Or you can do it here, just clicking on the word target, and there is a pop-up window there appears, and you can write it straight there. So you can set the word target in different ways. Right, I think I have already covered all the basic things which I was going to show you in the first part. If you have questions right now, we can discuss something which you have some burning questions, something which you want to ask me right now. We can do it right now. Alternatively, what we can do, we can now have a small break, like 5–10 minutes, not more, and then return back, and I'll share my screen with you, and we'll be and you'll be practicing and trying Scrivener in real time with your own file, and we'll try all these features in your file, and I will be doing the same thing. So I think we can have 5 minutes for questions if we have any, or we can now go to the break and then return back with our screens ready for the simultaneous synchronous work. Okay? Right. So if we have no questions, let me see the chat now. Break. Okay. All right. After the break. Right. All right. All right. So,
I'm sorry, Maria has a short question, and she says, can you please show us where on Scrivener we can touch mentioned linguistic check? But I guess you're gonna explain it later after the
linguistic check. Linguistic check. What do you mean by linguistic check? We were talking about linguistic focus, which means that you are dealing with words. Do you mean linguistic check like checking spelling, some grammar, or what by linguistic check?
Maria, can you please turn on your mic and explain, maybe?
Oh, yes, I meant that we discussed before about linguistic format. Maybe I used the wrong form of the word. So you showed us a brilliant function of it, and I still don't catch where it is situated. So if you will show us during the presentation.
Oh, yes,
it will be great be great for me and maybe for others to see. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So it is here. You mean this? How to get here? How to get here from where you are? Actually, you go to edit, then you go to writing tools. In the drop-down menu, you are going to writing tools, and in writing tools, you are choosing linguistic focus. So edit, writing tools, linguistic focus. 3 steps.
Thank you very much.
Found it?
Understood.
All right. Okay. Right. So now we are having a break and